Good morning everyone, it's Conomics here once again, and today it's Saturday the 7th of November and we've just had a tremendous 2-hour session with Mr. Scott Ellis in the Bloomberg suite at Northumbria University at the Newcastle Business School. That's correct, isn't it?
Yep.
So Scott, you are one of the course leaders for the BA On's Finance and Investment course, is that right?
That's correct, yes.
So could you maybe just tell us a little bit about that course and maybe a little bit about the content of the course?
Yep, so the course currently is run by John Wales and I'm the Deputy Programme Leader. My background is I was a student on that programme, graduated in 2010. I worked as a mortgage advisor and then insurance. Now I'm back doing a PhD. John's background is purely from an insurance background, so he worked in the insurance industry for many years. And now we've come back, we've took the programme off Dr. Satish Sharma, whose background's in risk management, and now we're trying to tailor the course towards risk management and kind of personal wealth. So the first year is quite a generic business element, so you do all the business sort of side, you'll do a bit of accounting, and then you'll also specialise in a module that I'm module tutor of called Principles and Theories of Finance.
Mm-hmm.
So in that module we take you through the Bloomberg suite. We teach you how to use the system. We use that system to apply the theory, all the historical financial theory that I deliver in lectures. We go in the Bloomberg labs and put the theory into practice.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second year it gets a bit more specialised. So a few of the business elements start dropping off, and then we start looking into the likes of risk management. So we look at derivatives. The second semester, then we go on to do personal wealth management, so you get personal finance element. And the third year, it gets very specialised. So there is a few things that need to be covered, like strategy and ethics.
Mm-hmm.
Ethics is really important in the financial industry at the moment. And then it is a real risk management focus in the third year, and portfolio management. So you'll do 2 modules on risk, so you'll look at all the different types of market risk, credit risk, liquidity risk, in 2 modules, and then you'll do a portfolio management module where you will be actively trading in the Bloomberg room with a fictitious portfolio and be putting theory into practice on the Bloomberg suite,
right, okay.
As well as your dissertation, which hopefully will be finance orientated.
Yeah. We've had a really enjoyable couple of hours here this morning. I think the kids have really enjoyed using
They were very, very good students.
Yeah, they grasped it quite well, I think you would say.
They picked up the system very quickly. I was very impressed with that.
Okay, excellent. For some of those students who are maybe thinking of applying to this course, maybe this year or next, what would the typical entry requirements be? I mean, I know we've been chatting this morning. You said it's getting more popular and so on.
Yeah, so the program is getting very popular. It currently stands as ABB, A level wise. However, we are looking to increase that, so that could go up to AAA. But also we take into account extracurricular activities. So if you are even to get UCAS points from, I don't know, for instance, grade 5 violin, you get UCAS points for that, and obviously that also can get added to your total.
Okay. So what about things like Duke of Edinburgh Award, that type of thing?
Yeah, it's a great thing to have Duke of Edinburgh, even if it's bronze, silver or gold.
Yeah.
Whether that be by your college or even other things like the Air Cadets or Sea Cadets, Army Cadets, if you get Duke of Edinburgh through that route, that just shows a good group set of skills. So you obviously know navigations, what have you, so that's obviously useful getting around the city. However, it's the voluntary aspect, the skills aspect, and also there's a knowledge aspect. And if you're able to commit to the Duke of Edinburgh, as an example, that just shows an extra level. It's a good skill to have. Interestingly, I've got gold.
Really? We are trying to push that at school at the minute, so that's something which people in the sixth form need to be taking up, I think.
It's interesting because I did that through the Air Cadets. I was in the Air Cadets for a good 5 years. And obviously there's a stigma attached, and obviously thinking, oh, it's not cool or anything in college, and there is that stigma. However, it's interesting now, I still see people going, oh Scott, I wish I'd done that, like you. I wish I hadn't wasted my Friday nights, and so on. So I'm not making that up. There's people I do see around where I live, and they do say, oh Scott, you've got I'm doing that now, I wish I'd done it sooner. So take the opportunity.
Good strength to your bow.
Yeah, it's great. It's definitely a good selling point on the Newcastle. It really is.
Okay. I mean, it was interesting what you were saying at the start of the session this morning about the way you as the lecturer here, your role is to just scaffold what the students do, and it's very much up to them, isn't it? When they're at university to do their own study. They're not going to be spoon-fed by the staff here at the university. And obviously Duke of Edinburgh sort of builds on those skills.
Yeah, definitely.
Independent learners and so on.
Yeah, I mean that's really important, certainly with the likes of the Bloomberg suite. You learn by inquiry.
Yeah.
If you ask questions, but if you see something on the news and you want to find out more, go find it. And there will be something you'll learn from it.
Yeah, and it's up to you, the student, to pursue it, not you,
the
course leader, to direct all the time.
That's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
Okay. Excellent. And so it sounds like a really interesting course. Obviously you've done it in the past and now you're teaching on it. What would the sort of typical employment prospects be for somebody who does this course?
Yeah, it's a wide range. So we've got a good bank of students around the country and around the world in different roles. First of all, at the end of the second year, you can do a placement. So instead of going straight to your third year, you do a placement, and we've got quite a few students that opt to do that. So they'll go to the local risk management firms, they'll go to the local wealth management firms. We've got people in banks, we've got people in the regulators, we've actually got people that don't even go away and do finance, but still a placement that gives that extra skill set for when they look for graduate jobs. And then following graduation, there's obviously routes to stay in education, to go masters, PhD. However, we tend to get international students tend to go back home and go into their investment banks if they don't go to further study. The UK and home students, it's a wide range. So we have, if you talk about my colleagues, my peers that graduated with me, there's definitely two in Canary Wharf, with two investment banks. We've got someone head up in liquidity risk at Virgin Money. Recent graduates, there's at least 3 wealth management firms in the northeast that have took them on and they're in graduate schemes there.
Brewin Dolphin.
Brewin Dolphin, that's correct. Yeah. We've even got some students that are even first and second year doing internships at Brewin Dolphin. But because we have Bloomberg, what we also have access to is something called the Bloomberg Aptitude test, which is actually free for anyone. You don't have to have Bloomberg, but what that gives us is a link with Bloomberg, and then we run these exams, which students can sign up, irrespective of their course or their age, and they come and do a Bloomberg Aptitude test. But what that is, it's a headhunting tool. So they do the test, they add their CV, all the extracurricular skills they've got onto their profile. They'll do the test, they'll be scored against everyone else who does the test. But what it is companies that have a Bloomberg terminal, Bloomberg's clients, which is obviously all the way around the world, they can quickly type in on the terminals, talent search. They might say, I want a UK educated student with a BATS, an exam score this high, that knows Spanish. They can do that search on the terminal, it'll populate a list
on the Bloomberg.
On the Bloomberg. The company pays a little fee to Bloomberg to get access to that student CV, and what they do is they call them and say, I've seen your BAT, I've seen what you've done, and they can offer them an interview. We have some good cases of our students that have been approached, that are still in education, being approached because of their BAT score. Right. So that is another route that can
into the job market.
Yeah, it cuts out all the cuts out the middleman. Yeah, so right. There's a direct link to clients.
And I know when I spoke to Ron here a few weeks ago, you've got because you do it, part of Northumbria uni is based in London, isn't it? You've got
we got a London campus.
Yeah. So do you get many students go into? I mean, you're talking about Canary Wharf. Do you get many students going to London to sort of work really graft for 10 years and then put their feet up after that?
Yeah. Obviously, in finance, it can be a stressful industry. If you're certainly for the equity analyst section, you will focus on one specific area, and you'll be up 6 in the morning reading the news, reading the paper, and getting to work 7, depending on your tube, I suppose.
Yeah.
And you'll be cracking on, and you will be under pressure. If you're front office, you're doing the trading. So you'll have to listen to back office, who do the risk management.
Yeah.
And you will be working with quite constraints. So if you're doing that sort of job, it is quite stressful, demanding. Tips for that: keep fit.
I don't know how fit you are, Scott. Regular winner of the Whitley Bay Park Run, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your best time on the park run?
Park run best time is 16:20.
16:20.
For a 5k race, it's 15:48.
Really?
So, but
wow.
You've got obviously these extracurricular skills, and they do keep you fit. And if you are going to the job market, certainly in finance, and you're doing that sort of stuff, you need to be. It is physically demanding. Yeah. It's physically demanding, but it's also mentally demanding.
Yeah. And you need that outlet as well, don't you? To sort of a little bit of downtime.
Yeah. Yes, that's true.
Relieve your stress. Yeah. Right. Okay. And what about then, Scott? We've talked about this a little bit, but what about useful work experience? I know you said that there's nothing really specific.
So for people applying to go uni?
For particularly the course that you're running.
For work experience, it could be anything. So work experience is better than no work experience. Right. I mean, it's not just for coming onto university programs, but it's also when you're applying for graduate jobs or even placements. Mm-hmm. Some work experience helps. The banking sector is quite good for offering summer internships to college and school leavers. So if you go on their websites, there is specific work experience programs you can go on. If you want to do course related, I suppose. But other work experience, even work, just showing that you've got a background of doing something, that's also good. Yeah. But if not, volunteering. So volunteer at the park run, get your purple t-shirt for 25 volunteering. It's just any sort of voluntary thing like that. Like I said, even if you don't have work experience, if you're in something like the cadets, air cadets, obviously cadets, so on you, that also shows discipline. And if you're committed to that, it boosts the CV up. Even if you can't get into employment, there's still other ways of doing it. Yeah.
So just something to show that you're not just sitting around all the time. You're disciplined, you're organised, you can get up, go into work.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's interesting, in our third year students, you can tell who's come back from placement and who hasn't. It's obvious. Statistically, it's proven that they can do better. Yeah. But they know 9 o'clock exists as well. So if you've got that experience, it definitely shows.
Although the last time I came here, to be fair, I bumped into 1 or 2 of our upper 6 from last year, and I'm sure they were leaving at lecture. It was about 9 o'clock. So some of them are more organised than others, let's say. Yeah. Okay. Great. And the last thing I was going to just mention then, Scott, was you've told me and the students this morning that the Bloomberg suite here is going to be moving to an even bigger facility. Yep. Could you just tell us a little bit about that? And obviously we'd love to get back here at some point if possible.
Yeah, of course. So the Bloomberg suite itself had a history it was actually brought here by Dr. Satish Sharma in 2009. So in my final year I actually had access to it. We only had a few, and they were in the back of an IT room. Wasn't very useful. It was quite tricky for access. So now we've got 12 terminals in a dedicated room. However, purely because of student demand, we've had a long case to have a bigger room. So what we're doing, we're going from 12 terminals up to 20, which is a big capital expense from the university. But it's going to be downstairs. It's going to back off the cafe, so when you walk into the first floor of the Newcastle Business School, you'll have the engagement. You'll have the engagement centre on one side, and you'll have the Bloomberg suite on the other side. So we'll have a bit of curb appeal, we'll see. Yeah. But the room itself is going to be kitted out with faster PCs, which will hopefully run Bloomberg a lot quicker than it does. Much more space. The desk size is also going to increase, and we're going to have hopefully a background wall of the city skyline to feel like you're in London, and a few TV monitors which will show the lights, BBC and Bloomberg, but we'll also have a high definition projector, so when I'm doing sessions, much larger sessions in there with students, I can project the terminal onto the back wall.
Right, brilliant.
So that's the idea.
Okay. Well, we've had a brilliant morning here, Scott. I just want to thank you again for giving up your time on a Saturday morning and for missing the park run for us for a Saturday morning. So thanks very much for your time, Scott.
Thank you.
Thanks.